Hey, good evening, everybody. It's me, it's Jamal. It is January the 23rd. It is around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Austin, Texas, which is where I am right now. This is an after dark version of the JamalCast, and not a live version. I'm actually recording this because I wanted to try something different and I wanted to make sure I got my message out the way I wanted it to go out, because it's personal to me. And here's the thing, what the fuck is it with this whole quote, love you thing? Why do we abbreviate the most significant expression of love that we can share between one person and another? I love you. These three words. There's a million songs written about it. Um, why do we have a hard time saying those three words? And I'm not talking about saying those three words in the context of romantic relationship. The I'm in love with you three words, by the way, which I think is part of the reason why we struggle with saying them sometimes. I think people think that if they say I love you, the other person's going to think they're talking about it in the romantic context. But, if you're not in a romantic relationship with somebody, most of us understand that's not what you're talking about when you're talking to your siblings, to your best friend, to, some of the people that you hang out with that you care about, but aren't in love with. I think we all understand that those relationships aren't romantic relationships. But with the people, your best friends, people that you hang out with, the people that you spend time with, your family members, why do we do that little truncated version of I love you and just say love you? And here's why I asked this question, because I just got off the phone with somebody who was really pouring their heart out to me, crying, upset because they just found out someone they love is kind of in the end stages of fighting breast cancer. And this person didn't share their diagnosis with them until really the last minute because, according to the cancer patient, they wasn't sure anybody gave a shit. To be honest with you, I mean, that was her explanation. She wasn't sure if she would get the support she wanted. She wasn't sure if the people around her really cared because she felt like she wasn't seen, she wasn't heard, she wasn't cared about before she got sick. And a lot of that comes from these little microaggressions, if you will, toward expressions of love. The little things that we do that we don't think about that tend to send this message that maybe our concern, our care, our compassion for somebody isn't as strong as we think it is. And this is why I want us to stop it. I do it sometimes. I've done the love you. I've sent the text and ended it with love you. I've ended phone calls with love you. I've certainly done it on Facebook a ton. Love you. But every time I do it, even when I do it, I wonder, what is that about? There's a little part of me that just winces over it because there's a part of me that doesn't really like the idea of truncating the expression of love. I don't really know where it came from. I know everybody around me does it. I see a lot of folks doing it, and I want us to stop it because what is so difficult, what is so hard about saying I love you, about personalizing this expression? Because when you do the cute little love you, there's no I, there's no personality, there's no person attached to it. You're not attached to it. It's just like a colloquialism. It's a little cliche thing that people just say that I think when you're on the other end of it, it just doesn't feel as real as when you put the personal touch on it and say, I love you. When you put yourself in the love, when you give the love from yourself and you're not just, basically cutting and pasting what everybody else says. I think a part of it is also its vulnerability. When you take the I off of it, when you leave yourself out of it, it almost feels like you're kind of shielding yourself a little bit. Like, well, I want to tell you I care, but I'm hedging a little bit. I don't want to put myself too much into it because maybe you don't love me as much back. I get that. Again, I've done it, and I'm gonna stop doing it. And if you catch me doing it, please call me on it. Because again, my friend and her friend, you know, they didn't connect over something really important. They're now like worrying about last days and losing someone when they could have had opportunities to be there for each other and support each other and go through this thing together, all because somebody wasn't sure that the other person really cared. And one of the reasons I think she wasn't sure is because of these little, I guess I'll call them microaggressions toward expressing our emotions. We live in a society that kind of discourages us from expressing our emotions, discourages us from being vulnerable, discourages us from loving each other. Like there's all this taboo around doing things that make yourself vulnerable and showing people your affection and whatever. Everybody's afraid to put themselves out there because they're afraid to get hurt. Guess what? You can get hurt whether you put yourself out there or not. There's, as Les Brown says in one of his videos, there's too much pain in the world to escape. You can't hide from it. No matter where you go, you're gonna experience it one way or the other. Something's gonna happen. And if it's not the pain of being vulnerable and maybe potentially getting rejected, it's gonna be the pain of losing somebody and having all these damn regrets and wishing you had to said it when you had the chance. One way or the other, you're gonna have the pain. So why not avoid the pain that you can control? Why not avoid some of the pain that you don't definitely want to have? I mean, okay, yeah, you might every once in a while try to show your affection to someone or show your compassion to someone, and they might not receive it as well as you would like. But ain't nobody ever died from loving somebody too hard, for being too kind, for being too nice, for being too compassionate. Nobody's ever gotten, there's no sickness that comes from being overly compassionate or overly affectionate or overly kind or overly loving. You know, lives don't get ruined because of that. But there are all kinds of sicknesses and diseases when the people get because they felt lonely, they felt uncared for, they felt rejected, and they felt like they couldn't trust people. And you know, there's all these mental illnesses that go on in people's heads, depression and suicide. I've had so many friends that have died, not so many, but I've had several friends die from suicide because they were hiding behind a mask. All this negative stuff in their head, all these self-hatred thoughts, these fears, these feeling lonely, depressed, and sad. And the reason why they hide is because they don't think anybody gives a shit. They hide because they don't think if they tell everybody, they take the mask off, anybody's gonna care. Because again, we're too busy being cute, saying love you, you know, giving the politically correct responses and saying things that are colloquial and cute, rather than just being vulnerable and being like, you know what, I love you. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I care about you. I'm here for you. Showing people that you really, really care, putting the you, the I, the personality, the person into these expressions. Now, if you're like me, you know, I've lost people and I've had those regrets and I don't want to keep having them. So I'm really going to work hard on trying to be more personal in my expressions of love and compassion, to be willing to be more vulnerable and tell people that I love them and I care about them. Even if they don't say it back, it's okay. Nothing wrong with me loving you. And if you don't love me back, that's okay. I still love you. But I would rather like tell you, I love you. I'm here for you. You can call on me, count on me. I will be there for you. I'd rather be able to put that out there than to have the regrets that come along with not doing it or half doing it. I don't want any of you, anybody that's watching this video, anybody that calls me a friend, anybody that I have been able to lean on, to not feel like you can lean on me because you're not sure about how I feel about you. I want you to know I love you. Right? I'm here for you. I care about you. I'm willing to do what it takes to stand and hold space for you. I want to be able to, I want to be known for that. I want you to know that that's how I feel about you. And so I'm going to try really hard to really share my expressions of love and affection and not cut them off, not be cute about them, just be honest and vulnerable and just tell you I love you. Will you join me and give me a try? I'm giving that a try. I think you will benefit from it. I think others will benefit from it. I think we'll all have less regrets, probably more happiness, more love, and more compassion when we start truly showing how we feel, sharing our vulnerability, sharing our truth, sharing our feelings, whether they're good, bad, or otherwise, and letting folks know that we care, that we love them, that they matter. They matter enough to not cut our expressions of love and concern for them short. Say, I love you. What do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Check me out on the JamalCast Facebook page, Instagram page, and the Twitter page at the JamalCast. Leave a comment, a like, send me a message, let me know what you think. And thanks for watching, all right? And remember,